my goodness.
Little bumpy. 400ths of a second. That's less than the blink of an eye. 20 sleds to round out the men's skeleton World Cup season. We're in PyeongChang, Korea at the Alpensia Sliding Centre, ready for the final heat of the BMW IBSF season. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven, alongside me John Morgan with another fascinating run ready in the wings.
Fantastic track here for the 2018 games. Nikita Tregebov, he might be the new Russian star. Tretyakov back in 6th place in this young Russian rocket. Decent start times, but really big speed at the bottom, and gave the Russians something to smile and hope about here in the final World Cup race of the season. Martin Stukarz only needs to finish 2nd to win his 7th straight World Cup title, and he's in that position. He's just 1800ths of a second behind the guy who's favored to win on his home track. It's the Korean Sung Bin Young, who everybody has been looking. Thomas Bach looks on from the IOC, but the Korean Sung Bin Young, wow. Great start, the best start, of course, a track record. And at the bottom, he only took 2 trips in training this week to qualify. He didn't want to show everybody the lines, as he's learned on this track in the last 3 months that it's been open. But Martin, 1800ths of a second is not a lot of time on this track, and boy is it close between 3rd and 6th.
Yeah, it really is. Massive battle going on for all the top 10 positions. Just a few hundreds in it. We've even got a tie for 8th position. And we have a very tight top 20. Jack Thomas, 20th after the first heat, will go off first as we go 20th down to 1st. Yoon Sung-bin of Korea will be the last to go. Then from Marco Rora on down, the rest of the field don't make the final cut of the year, and they will join the fans at the side of the track. Well, air temperature, sure, it's +2, certainly doesn't feel like it anymore. Sun's been long gone, ice temperature -4. Final changes being made to the sled. They're allowed to adjust the setup of the rockers, of the runners on the sled, not change the runners themselves. Yun there just double checking to see if there's any scratches or little marks on the runners that he could maybe polish out.
What pressure on him, huh?
Well, do you know, it's only ever internal pressure. I think he feels pretty relaxed. He did his training in secret all the last 3 weeks and only did 2 runs, but the genie is out of the bottle now. Everybody knows what lines he's using, so he has to make the benefit now. Jack Thomas goes first. Behind him will follow Igor Veselov, Florian Auer and the rest. And then as we get down into the top 10, we have a tie for 10th place, Matt Antoine and Alexander Tretyakov, the reigning Olympic champion. Now, nobody's ever successfully defended an Olympic gold medal in skeleton. Alexander Tretyakov and Lizzie Arnold, who both won in Russia, will try. Will Tretyakov be that far behind a year from now?
Tretyakov is struggling on this very difficult track.
Final run of the year for Jack Thomas of Great Britain. 20th place after the first of our 2 heats, the last World Cup race of the season, as he completes his first World Cup season on ice.
Well, Jack, decent start, 10th best start. Speed, keep your track guys on that speed. The start speed is after 100 meters. Right here's where you want to keep track of. That exit curve too. That is a nightmare for most of the teams, most of the athletes.
Down the middle, little brush on the wall into 5. That's a big long sweeping left. Then corner 6.
Took a lot of 6 there.
And then 7, you've got to hold height late to get into 8 nicely.
Here's this pivotal part of the track coming up, exit of 9. You're going to see a lot of action in here like you just saw there.
121.7, that's 75.6 miles an hour. That's good speed from him.
13, 14, big sweeping curves, not a lot of pressure. Speed, 124.3, 77.2 miles an hour. He's the Rapid, he's down at a time of 51.70, and that's 1600ths better than his first run. And I think we're going to see better times across the board. It's colder, the sun's gone down.
Yep.
Ice is a little firmer.
Shakes his head again, not happy with that. Couple more mistakes in than he would like. Nobody's going to be perfect here, probably not even Yoon of Korea.
Well, you're going to see compelling pictures like this, all 20 sleds. Very few people, if any, will get through here clean. It's not a straightaway, it's like a chicane. And this is like Pinball Wizard, and you know, there's a lot of action in this part of the track, Martin. Airborne,
flung from
then
one
you go
wall
to 70
another.
miles an hour with that change of direction.
Jumping into corner 12. Jack Thomas, the race leader for the moment. Igor Veselov of Russia in only his 3rd World Cup start.
Yeah, much better in this heat here than he did at the World Championships, where he finished 26th. And he had a start time, 23rd best start in the first run. And boy, that's a very un-Russian-like start, because the women's skeleton, we saw how good of starters they were.
And between his legs, you can see Elena Nikitina, as it were. There she is, cheering him off from the top. She just got the bronze medal in the women's race.
Silver medal.
Silver medal in the women's race.
Russia's only medal of the season in women's skeleton. So what a time to do it. Ooh, he slides a little bit onto that wall of 2. 2/10 back, that's relative to the start.
Best race for him, 12th place in Whistler. He did the 2 North American races, and he raced in Eagles last time out.
You can see everybody not real comfortable in that aerodynamic form in the sleds, because that's what this track presents. And those were pretty good lines right there.
Slips through, still 1900s behind,
but not the same
give him speed.
That wasn't, he's got it back to 800s now.
He was 77.2 miles an hour, 126, that's
way better speed. He should catch him. He should catch him here in the bottom. He
Crossed
does.
the line by 1400s, 51.64. So he moves into the lead, and what was he in front? He was only 800s faster in the first heat, 1400s over the 2 heats.
Considering the start, pretty good. Look at him grab his right hamstring.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, we got some hamstring issue. Look, that's if you're going to do it, you want to do it in the last heat of the year.
We've had a couple. John Farrow tore his quad in the final day of training and was unable to compete today.
Well, let's see if his leg gets out on him here. Ooh, look at the way that thing came over.
Well, he launches off his right
left leg, and that's what he was grabbing.
No, it was his right leg he was grabbing. It's the last step. He launches off.
His left leg, when he comes out, he's grabbing his left leg, and that's what came up over the top of the Scorpion.
It was the one closest to the camera, John. That's the right. Igor Veselov is our race leader. Florian Auer of Austria, 18th place after the first 2 heats. First heat of 2 here in PyeongChang, Korea. His older brother Alexander did not make the cut. And Florian having a better season of the 2.
It's a pretty good result for him here. 18th. Really hasn't been making many of the top 20s. 495 start. Velocity's not great. And let's see if he gets through 2. Yes.
Four World Cup races this season, only made the cut in the first of them. That was in Altenburg.
Too much there. Exit of 5, 6, 8. Big long sweeping turn, now 9, and this is pretty good.
Yeah, decent run from 9 to 12.
Not as good as the other sleds, but he's got a 1/4 second in the tank.
And avoids the wall into 13 and 14. Yes, clean.
126.8 is the best speed of the 3 sleds. And he'll be the leader by how much?
2900s, that's a decent run. 51.4 would have left him in 13th, not 18th after the first heat.
He likes it. So one of his better finishes of the season. What a way to finish.
Yeah, that'll be a
hug
PB.
from the therapist.
That'll be his best ever World Cup finish.
Oh, he's a little gimpy too. Look at him.
Well, they've slid almost every day for 3 straight weeks on the same start. They've
slid every day for about 5 months.
Yeah, but the same start as well, so it puts the same pressure. It's not even on a different track. And this is quite an individual start as well. It's long and quite steep after you get over the brow.
Well,
it's a good
lines
run
at a 12, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure there, 70+ miles an hour. He's the leader.
5 minutes off the home.
3 sleds down, 17 to come. John Daly next up for the USA on his return to the sport after 2 full seasons away from the ice. Look at that leg turnover, still looks like Billy Whiz.
486, 48 in the first run. Push track might have got a little firmer up there, and he gets through 2. And John Daly, really a good starter. Remember the Olympics in Sochi, he came out of the start grooves in the final run, cost himself a chance to win a medal. His teammate Matt Antoine won the medal, but Daly walked away from the core of the track, and he just felt that he couldn't finish the sport like that. So we came back here earlier in the year, and here he is.
Now he's starting a quarter second slower than our race leader, but of course he's done no sport not seriously for the last 2 years, so he's got a lot of ground to make up with that sprinting.
Watch out here, it's going to be close.
1400s, 800s, oh, it did drop down. He was 1400s up, but
2900s, so top 17 for John Daly, top 16 for John Daly in this at least. But again, when you get away from the sport,
yeah,
you get away from the sprinting. And sprinting, a normal sprint's one thing. Sprinting bent over, pushing a skeleton sled, total different muscle memory.
Hair still on point.
Yeah, big hit there out of 13. That threw him high into 14, then he loops it down and up the big W. That cost him.
Well, he takes the lead away from Florian Auer. John Daly leads for the USA. Don Parsons of Great Britain had 2 very good runs in the final day of training. Fastest of all, of course, Sun Bin Young wasn't training then. But can he find that pace in the second heat?
15.
Only 18th fastest start in a field of 30, a long way away from where he would like to be, where he would have been a couple of seasons ago.
Geez, in the 2014 season, we saw him win a medal up in Calgary with great starts, and then he got injured to the end of that season, and he's just not the same starter. 8th place at the World Championships. I mean, he's an accomplished slider down the track, but we both know it's the
start horsepower.
Yeah, especially here. Now watch to see if he gets out of curve 2. Ooh, real high.
Only had 400s over Daly from the first heat. He lost 100th at the start. 400s in front still.
Speed
very close.
Take on here, good. Ooh, he took a lot of that curve though at 6, 8, 9, and
still 400s.
800s now, but speed though is not what Daly had.
76.9 to 77.3.
That's why it's down to 7. Daly had 126.8. He's got 127, so he's on the mark here.
Yeah, needs to get his head down and keep the speed to the line.
Good lines at the finish.
Takes the lead by
51.17. Yeah, look at that. 5100s better. Now that's the run that he wanted in the first run, and that would have had him up in the top 10.
5th place was a 51.17 in the first heat, so he was spot on where he should have been.
But that's the persona of this track. It's hard to be consistent on a very difficult track. Yes, he's got 15 trips, 16 trips in 3 weeks, 20 trips now, and he's starting to figure it out. But it's going to be difficult to be consistent in 4 runs on this track at the Olympics.
Best run in training was a 51.29. He's just done a 17, so that's a PB on this track.
These are all good lines here.
Yeah, that's a good exit out of 9.
Yeah, with a tall guy, 6'3" guy.
And maybe that's part of why he got less of a skid.
Yeah. I didn't even know where I was going.
I didn't know where I was going. Disarming honesty. Don Parsons leads, 5 down, 15 to go. Kim Ji-soo of Korea, 15th place after the first heat, after a really exceptional top part of the track for this youngster in only his 3rd World Cup race. Martin Haven and John Morgan watching the action trackside in PyeongChang, Korea.
This guy was exceptional the first run. Great start, 5th best start is 74. Listen to the crowd cheering him on. 479, not as good as his first run. And start velocity's excellent. Gets through 2. You know, his first and only appearance we ever saw him in Innsbruck, he didn't make the cut, right? Finished out of the top 20.
Yeah.
And then here, ooh, real high there. But here, he's been down the track probably 50 more times than anybody else in the field except the leader, Sung Bin Young. And he showed he's got some potential with that start.
Now, this is where it all came unstitched in the first run as well. Below 12, he went from 4th to 12th
big mistakes
place.
there, and he loops this curve.
Oh!
Showing his inexperience
and
now.
hits the wall again.
He's going to fall a couple places. Speed is...
The ice was so different when they were training in the week. He's actually getting to all these corners a lot quicker than he was during the last 3 weeks.
Hey, they were just ecstatic that he finished in the top 20.
Yep.
But with that start, this guy's got promise. He gets all the trips next year. He's going to get on this. This could be a top 10 performer next year for the Koreans.
Well, listen, Yun's only 22. This guy is going to be a real threat to him as well in 12 months.
How old is he?
21, I think.
Well, the Koreans got something here. They got a guy who can start the sled. Crowd on hand with the buggy lights. Start. Decent. To drive down the track, well, probably doesn't have 2 years of sliding under his belt. Again, first time we ever saw him was in Innsbruck in January.
Got the top half nailed. It's 9 on down where it all starts to come unravel for him.
Everybody.
Yeah. Dave Kreshcheshin of Canada. Of all the non-Koreans in this place, he probably knows most about this country. He's taught English here in schools and colleges. He's even holidayed across the border in North Korea.
That's still amazes me that he put that down on his bio.
A couple of times.
Favorite vacation place he put down North Korea.
Yeah, he says it's a wonderful country full of wonderful people. Well, 482, good getaway from Grizz.
Coming off a great World Championships where he's been back. It's 15th, 16th, 17th place in the World Cup Tour, but in the World Championships, top 10.
Yeah.
10th place.
10th place, you're right. And his best other result was 11th in Whistler. Other than that, it's been 17th to 25th.
One of the thicker guys in the field, Reese Thornbury, coming up from New Zealand. Him and Reese and the Grizz here look like rugby players and not skeleton athletes. Ooh, that's a hard hit there in the 12. Speed is way off the pace.
Yep. And that is going to cost him. The gap comes down from 23 to 16. It'll be down into
125. Oh, wait. He's going to drop 3-4 places here.
Going to be close at the
he hung in there.
300s. Wow. Well, that's the extra mass that helps him.
How much time did he have in the front? Yeah, he did go 20.
Yeah, he went from 210s to 2400s up down to 1600s. Just
300s.
dips across the line.
300s.
He was 1500s ahead of Don Parsons after one heat, 300s after 2.
Boy, he had no speed, bottom part of the track, but Grizz.
Another one done.
Well, big guy, but watch this hit. Oh, man, and you can't even see it there.
Saying hello in Korean to his former college here. Yeah,
bang.
That's a big old hit.
In the airport. Did we get sleep tonight? 안녕하세요.
USA's Nathan Crumpton lying in 13th spot after the first heat of the final World Cup of the season. He's had 3 13th places in St. Moritz, Koenigsegg and Eagles, the last 3 World Cup races. Season's best 11th in Lake Placid, race 2 of the campaign.
Princeton University track and field athlete with a 4.77 in the first run. Coach Tuffy Latour urging him on. 7th best start in the first run, and he has the best start here. Let's see if he can get out of curve 2. Watch this. Yes.
Another long, rangy athlete, isn't he? Really tall guy, and that helps spread the weight nicely.
6-7. Ooh, watch out the wood there.
Ooh, just got a late exit, but no bump. This is another smooth-looking run. One of the few who never really gets the heels
120
together.
speed is not the speed that he needs. He's going to have to find the good line. He's down by a 10th here.
Yeah.
And 124 speed will save him, 123.3. That's not bad. That's a good exit going uphill. See if he can hold on.
Clean at the bottom.
No,
hits
sixth
the wall.
best time. So the Grizz moves up 1. Nathan Crumpton falls 3 places.
Yeah. Well, that breaks the string of unlucky 13ths at any rate. And here's
No worse than 14th. He knows.
Yeah.
But that's what this. It's tough to be consistent on this track. He's one of the first guys we've seen come down slower. He was 1,400 slower. Everybody's been 3/10, 4/10 better. He comes down slower.
Well, even after 3 weeks, they've had barely 24 runs down this track in training.
I think they had 18 total runs they've had as they needed to practice. If they took them all. Some people didn't take them all this week. They're tired and burned out.
So they haven't even spent 20 minutes on the track analysing this track at 70 miles an hour. It's still a puzzle in an enigma. 12th place after the first of our 2 heats in this final race of the season, Kiwi Rhys Thornberry. I said to him, you going back to Bryce Norton, RF Bryce Norton, where he is based as a weapons technician? No, he's going to Calgary for more training. Going to spend his whole season trying to build his speed at the start, which itself is pretty decent already.
He's had a great season. You know, it's about personal best. Come out and doing his best. Improve every time you come out. And, you know, he's 11th at the World Championships.
Yeah. 13th in the World Cup rankings behind Barrett Martineau and Nathan Crumpton.
And then, you know, on top of that, he was barely making the cut. He didn't make the cut in most of the races last season. So this guy is really in part of the second tier. He's probably one of the most improved sliders.
Definitely. Only once failed to make the cut. That was in St. Moritz, and unaccountably disappointing 21st place. Best was 8th in Koenigsegg at the beginning of February.
Watch out here. He's going to have fall 126.1 though. It's good speed.
Only a couple of hundreds back, and again a big rugby player physique.
Oh, by 100!
Look
at the Grizz. Look out, the 2 rugby players.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. I mean,
there you go.
Good speed in the bottom.
Of a second ahead of Dave Kreszczeshin.
So what's 100th, huh?
On this track, it's getting on for
and he went 1,300 slower.
Yeah.
So the last 2 sleds down have gone slower. And this is a big man. When he falls onto the sled, his hips hit first. That's a look at the ice chips come out.
Needs to find more speed at the start for sure.
There's some skidding here, toe touching.
Not bad though.
Like a rudder.
Doesn't take a big hit.
No, he doesn't. And that's why he had good speed in the bottom.
Everybody, thanks for your support. Oh, happy with that run.
9 down, 11 to go. Rhys Thornberry, the race leader. Next up, we have a tie for 10 as we go from joint 10th down to 1 to decide the final race of the World Cup season. Well, we argue back and forth about who might be the most improved athlete in the men's field. Rhys Thornberry's definitely one of those that's in contention there, isn't he?
Yeah, you know, Barrett Martineau's another one coming right up. Christian Grothier. I would say it's between Barrett Martineau and Rhys Thornberry. But those 2 guys have really improved.
Well, Barrett had a slew of top 10 finishes in his first season. Then last year had that classic sophomore slump where your expectations get ahead of your results and it starts to eat away inside. This year he's come back. Rhys Thornberry, his upward trajectory has been very strong indeed. That's that consistent coaching. Got himself into the team, coached by Martin Rettel and his crew. So Kim Marmans, what a result she's had.
Look at these pictures.
Yeah.
The engineering construction of the track. There's that straightaway.
There's corner 8 in the background.
Big curve.
Sweeps into corner 9 with that. Look how severe the roof over the wood is.
It's not even a great corner. Then this is down the straightaway.
That's the straight. And you can't even see the base of corner 12. You go over the brow and it drops. And there's about 10 feet there where there are no runner marks at all except for in the wall. That's a great piece of engineering. I mean, whether by accident or design, they've created something that no other track has got.
As they should.
Yeah.
It's very easy track to get down. It's not a very fast track, 77, 78 miles an hour. But boy, are there some nooks and crannies all over the place.
RAF Skeleton had a good time at the inter-services as well. So they'll be very proudly supporting Rhys Thornberry here as he leads with 11 sleds to go. Final 11 sleds of the World Cup season. Rhys Thornberry of New Zealand leads with 11 to come, and the reason we've got the break after 9 before 11 instead of halfway through the top 20 is a dead heat between this man, Matt Antoine, and Alexander Chechikov, the Olympic champion. So 2 of our podium finishers from Sochi tussling for 10th, John Morgan.
Yeah, no changing of the guard. Chechikov had a terrible first run. Matt Antoine, deficient start. Let's see if he can get through 2. Not bad. And Matt, one of them tall, rangy athletes that, you know, as you said, bronze medalist from Sochi. And on this track, oh, he taps again before 6.
Started 2100 slower than Chechikov. They were identically timed at the bottom of the track.
So the line here is not bad. Speed, not great.
A little better than his first run through 12.
Doesn't hit there. It's coming back.
Leads going
126
down.
speed. He doesn't. He's close. This is going to go right to the 100th.
Yeah.
Thornberry had better speed.
Oh, and it's a
first tie.
So he comes out of a tie and into a tie.
Yeah.
He'll be tied
He's
for
all tied up.
10th or 11th.
He's all tied up, Mark.
Yes, he is. Tied for the lead. Well. Can't break free. Look at that. Body language tells you everything.
Not happy. Well, there's a lot of people walking down that walk of shame, whatever it is, not happy. And, you know, this is it. This angle, 11 to 12, is so difficult. And then you hit that with 4 Gs of force, 70 plus mile an hour speed. Wow. Hey, guys.
Joint leaders, 10 to go. Alexander Chechikov, the Olympic champion, second fastest starter, 4:63, only 200ths off the current leader, or off the first heat leader, but he ended up way behind him, nearly 4/10ths back after the first run. If there's one thing Chechikov has not done in 3 weeks, it's find out how to go quick down this track. No.
He's been erratic all week long in official training. Look at that, he hopped out of the grooves, 4:64, speed excellent, but he couldn't get through curve 2 in the first run. This time he does.
Better.
And with that speed, you see a half-second of lead. Yeah, but on this track, that half-second, we saw that get thrown away. Does he tap? He does it again. Before 6, he taps before the takeout. He's got a double steer.
Out of 5, did he?
Yeah, can't get through there.
Now, what about 9? Because this was horrible on the first run. It's just as bad. Big skid, just
much better speed, though. This is great speed.
Don't forget, he was tied with Matt Antoine after first. He's
half
a second up.
He's starting to do what we expect out of the Olympic champion, Alexander Chechikov.
Less
speed, 127.5. No one's been in that number in this heat. 50.85.
Wow.
He just went.
That would have left him second.
700ths better in the second run. Now that's what we expected out of Alexander Chechikov. What a way for him to leave the Olympic venue with that run in his mind. He's had a tough week here. Had a tough World Championships when he did not medal.
Yep.
And he's had a tough Exeter Curve 9 all week. That sled's not going straight, and he's got his 6'3" frame all the way down the track struggling. His toe touches the wall. I don't think we ever see that when the toes touch. He touched both sides of the wall. Chechikov is the leader.
We had a tie for 10th place. We have a tie for 8th place. First to go, Mattia Gaspari of Italy. And again, a man who has improved on his performances from last World Cup season, and without doing any pre-season training. No sliding at all until we arrived in Altenburg in January. So he's missed 3 months on ice compared to all his rivals. Doesn't seem to have made the slightest difference to his progress.
You wouldn't know if he gets first or last. He's got that same look on his face, getting off the sled every time. Very low-key guy. All he does is go out and get better on every run. See if he can get through 2, which he has to with that deficient start.
Still a young slider, just 23 years old. Lots of potential.
28 hundredths.
Well, don't forget the speed of Tretyakov at the start, 64 to an 85, so he started 2/10 slower.
Wow.
Now, can he find anything on the Olympic champion?
Not
That was
bad.
a better exit.
Pretty good, 28 to 38 in the speed, nowhere near Tretyakov.
No.
So the question is, he might fall 1, and he's in second right now, so 127 change will give him a chance. There it is. So that'll give him a chance to maintain at least a second, which is a top 10 finish, right?
Will be.
Yeah, there he is, third best time. Second, Tretyakov couldn't live in that leader's box for a couple more sleds.
That's pretty consistent for him.
Yeah, well, Gaspari has just been consistent the whole season. And if you look at those 2 runs there, they're 400ths apart from each other. If they're giving out awards for matching your time from the first to second run, he would win so far in this competition.
11th in the last 2 World Cup races. He'll be no worse than 10th now.
9th at the World Championship, so he's pretty much on par for what he's done. A little high there. This is on the take-on, and then 6, 7, and then this is the nightmarish section of the track for the athletes, but boy, that's pretty good.
Matteo Gaspari of Italy lies second. Alexander Tretyakov of Russia, the leader. 8 to go. 8 sleds remain in the final World Cup race of the season. 3 of them are from Germany, 2 from Latvia, 1 Russian, 1 Korean. First of our Germans up. Christopher Grote won his first ever World Cup race earlier in the season. First race back after the Christmas break in Altenburg, of all places. He grabbed the gold medal.
Well, that didn't look like a comfortable jump on the sled. Start, excellent. Speed, just as good. Can he get through 2? Yeah. So far, on pace to try and catch Tretyakov on the bottom. Perfect line here, 6, 7, yep. Watch this big turn 8.
Well, Tretyakov had given all his speed away, really, hadn't he, by corner 12. Takes a hit, but otherwise he's straight.
Excellent speed, best speed of anybody, and that section of the track. Here he comes.
Well, this is what the German girls did, isn't it? They all
127
speed.
Nope. This is probably going to mean he can't catch Tretyakov on the bottom.
So Lizzie Yarndl looking over the wall there, watching, still learning.
Second best time, 51.16.
Yep.
He went 1100ths better. Tretyakov takes a drink in the leader's box because he might still be there for a few more sleds.
Yep.
He shouldn't have been there in the first place. He should have been up in the top 3 challenging for a medal, but a very deficient first run from the Olympic champion. And season's over for Christian Grothier. It's been a great one, including his first ever World Cup victory in Altenburg, Germany. And the start. Now watch him get on the sled here. This looked a little rough. See that? It looked a little, that last step on the start groove. Usually you want to be outside that start groove. And watch here too how hard he hits here in the exit.
Comes bumping out late height. We haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Normally they come earlier and then swing into the wall.
But then he comes as straight as you can get.
5 points behind Tretyakov in the season-long standings. If he'd finished in front of him, he would have overhauled him for 4th place overall. Next up, Barrett Martineau. Wild first ride, but he didn't hit very much. He was just looking flamboyant.
Big
rodeo
speed
riding,
Big speed on the bottom part of the track. 15th best start. And he probably had the 2nd or 3rd best speed in the bottom.
Maybe this is teaching us something. Maybe too much control is not a good thing here.
Well, that 43 start now, he has to get through curve 2 to have any chance of getting Tretyakov.
Nice late height. Oh, drills the wall.
Now the question is, how many sleds is he going to fall? How many spots is he going to fall now? Because you know, what's that expression about the party being over?
Yeah. We're talking about the corner earlier.
Second down, almost a full second down. He could fall 8 or 9 places because of that hit out of curve 2.
Easily. Oh, and this is the other side of the wild ride coin.
Second down. You're talking Oh, is he going to fall like a stone?
Plummet. 7th place after the first heat. He'd be lucky to be 17th after this one.
This is what the track does.
Yep.
It's hard to be consistent. The only guy consistent is Gaspari from Italy. 14th best time. He falls 12 places.
He went a second slower.
51,
and that's what's been happening in training.
26 to 52, 28. And all because of curve 2.
And it just undoes all the speed, and when the speed's not there, you don't have the pressure.
What a way to leave the pre-Olympic race. Here it is, just watch it all. This is it. You can't do this.
Yeah.
Bang, it's over. And he just lost 1 second behind his previous run. Ooh, that didn't help. But that wasn't as bad. That's probably 1500s.
Yeah.
Says it all.
Yep. Six sleds to go in the Olympic test event in PyeongChang, Korea. Thomas Ducours has been fast in training almost every day this week. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action trackside. 2 Ducours brothers remain in the final 6 sleds of the year. We have not had... We've had 1 family 1-2 this season. We had 5 last year. Pressure is stepping up as we get closer to the Olympic Games.
Curve 2. Okay. 7th best start in the first run, and that was the 4th best so far in this run. But Thomas struggled a little bit at the World Championships with one of his worst finishes we've ever seen him have, 12.
Yeah. Very
unlike him because he had done well on the Koenigsee track previous to that. And here he gets down without touching anything, 125.5. No one has had that mark in this run.
At Tretyakov.
Here he comes. The speed's probably going to be 127 at least.
Going to unseat the Olympic champion.
No one in 2 heats has had the 128 speed than Thomas Ducours right there. 150.96, 25 hundredths better, and probably the oldest guy in the field, Thomas Ducours, he still got it.
900 slower than his brother's first run. That would have left him very close to him in 3rd if he'd had that in the first heat.
Well, that's the track.
Yep.
And plus, it's colder.
Weather change, exactly, yeah. And you've got to gamble on what the weather's going to do with your runner choice.
Okay, now watch the way. See, his feet are outside the grooves. Remember, Grothier was running in the grooves? Now let's see him exit the grooves. Does he have to use any body lean? Yeah, the toe comes out there a little bit, a little unsure of himself, but down here, how about this line in this part of the track? A little skidding there, but he gets through without touching anything, and he's the leader.
$15 down, 5 to go. Thomas Ducours leads Alexander Tretyakov and Christopher Grother. Germany's Alexander Gassner up next. Gassner with his first World Cup medal in Koenigsee just 3 weeks ago. Then in the World Championships, got a team bronze medal and a track record by beating Alexander Tretyakov. Returning to the World Cup this year after 2 full seasons away.
Worst start of the top 6 sleds, 11th in the first run, and he's a little bit better. He had an 80 in the first run, 77 here, and he gets through that Nemesis curve 2, 500ths lead, and boy, he's going to have to match some great speeds that Ducours had on the bottom part of the track.
I don't know where Gassner's mojo went for the last couple of seasons that he couldn't make the German team, because this year he's been almost as good as his 2 teammates.
Great line.
Oh, sneaks through.
123, but he doesn't have the speed that Ducours had.
Has he got much left? Oh, yeah, 200
no speed,
back.
And he hit there too, and he looped 14. And see if he does here. 127 is good, but it's not going to be enough.
Going to drop behind Tretyakov as well, because they're only 100th apart.
Wow.
Yeah, top 2 are only 100th apart. Well,
yeah,
nevertheless,
looks on. Still a great season for Alexander Gassner.
Yeah.
He has really come on.
He will be at no worse than 7th position here.
Not happy.
No. He wanted to move up. He knew he could move up.
Well, there could be some German selection right there for the Olympic team in top 5 or something.
That'll happen next year, won't it? He's had a medal as well, so he's got a top 3 result under his belt this season.
Well, it's not he did really bad. Here he comes out and crushes the wall a little bit on the exit of 14 there. But
time to sort out the medals. 0.03 of a second separated Axel Junk from bronze after the first of our 2 heats. He has had 2 medals so far this season, bronze in Altenburg, his home track, and silver in the World Championships in Koenigsegg. Thomas Ducours, though, is our current leader.
Well, it's close. Next couple sleds are separated by 300ths. And it's about to start. 473 for Axel. I've had a bad back all year, but boy, has he emerged with the silver medal at the World Championships. 471, a better start now. Curve 2. Let's see if he can get out.
Yeah, his speed is coming right back. That's only a 10th slower than Jung, the fastest in the field, and you couldn't have imagined that in January.
Yeah, he was limping to get out of the car. Ooh, there's 6. Problem on the take-on. Oh, and he loops this one up near the 1. This is a rough ride to date.
Wild, still a quarter second up on Thomas Ducours. Shoots the chicane.
Oh, it's gone. He's got 2.5 kilometers down, 1.5 hour, and he's going to have to rue another mistake there.
He's going to drop 3 or 4 spots. Gassner and Grotehair might both be in front of him.
Nowhere near Ducours. Question is, how many spots? 9th best time of the run. That is what this track does. He just came down the track 2,800 slower, where everybody else is faster. So both German sleds have faltered here in the final run.
First person we talked about this track were Martins and Thomas Ducours. Martin said, corner 2, you can lose 3/10 with a mistake, not 300ths. It's such a demanding corner.
His problem wasn't in curve 2 here.
He had others.
Yeah, right here. Look at the adjustment there. Then up near the wood.
He hauled it off.
Yeah, so this is up top 6, 7.
7, yeah.
And this is 7. Look at this. The wood is not really good for friction. I mean, it's not good up there.
Wood's not slippery, is it? Oh dear, another one makes straight for the changing rooms. Time to decide the medals. Thomas Ducours of Latvia leads. Nikita Tregibov is in the bronze medal position after the first of our 2 heats. Bronze for Tregibov. Silver for Martins Ducours. Sunbin Jung, a career in the gold medal position at the moment.
Coming off a bronze medal at the World Championships, the junior Russian rocket is supplanting Alexander Trechikov as the best Russian on tour. And his chance for a medal is going to be on the exit of curve 2. And he gets through there. And let's see what this young 3-time junior world champion, finished 4th or 5th at the Olympics in Sochi as a 19-year-old. And 2/10 with a mistake down here.
He could be a real medal contender in a year's time.
Speed way off though. The speed is 4
it's
or
coming
5
down.
kilometers off the pace.
1600ths of a second. 700. Ducours is going to be in the medals.
Wow.
He's not going to stay in front.
100
Surely.
speed's way off.
Thomas Ducours will have the lead at the line, or will he?
No.
Yes, by 400s.
Wow.
Ducours is in the medals.
Well, we have 1 Ducours has won a medal so far, but also Tregibov just fell behind Trechikov, his teammate, by 300.
Wow.
So I spoke too soon.
Whoa, so hang a minute. Trechikov, 10th place after the first heat. Tregibov 3rd, and Trechikov has overhauled Tregibov.
Well, Trechikov has the best time of the second run.
Yeah.
So that's something for the Olympic champion to take away, and that young phenom here.
Yeah.
You know, he had no speed. He had no speed at this part of the track.
Yeah, it had all gone already, hadn't it?
Yeah. And then he struggled here under 12, but the speed was already gone. And he just...
Lots of knee work, lots of steering for Nikita Tregibov, but he drops out of contention perhaps. 2 to go. Aiming for his 8th straight Crystal Globe. the World Cup leader. He's won the World Cup title the last 7 straight years. Martin Stucos is our world champion and our European champion.
Just think of the best in sports. Federer, Schumacher. I mean,
he's in there, isn't he? He really
is the
is.
best ever our sport has ever seen. He's just a phenomenal athlete. And start time, see if he can get through. Yeah, he was as smooth as
now
anybody.
The real question is, he was 1800s behind Yun after 1 heat. Can he somehow produce 3/10 of a second to beat him?
We've seen Yun lose a couple races in the second run after being the leader this year. And it's to this guy, he's lost him. Look at this line, come on. Nobody else has done that. 124
the pressure.
Only his brother had better speed there.
Yep.
62, he's losing a little bit back. Speed 127, yes, 127 plus. And now the question is, catch me if you can, Mr.
Is
Yun.
it going to be a winning run? A new track record? It had to be.
So he's just won his 8th straight World Cup title. Who else has done something like that in sport? Come on. I mean, it's probably 64 wins, 2 silver medals in Vancouver and in Sochi. And this could be the Olympic preview. This could come down to just like this next year. This guy here battling the Korean sled coming up next. This is the best line we've seen of bobsled skeleton, anybody coming down the track this week.
2 times he's gone to the games as the favourite. 2 times he's been beaten by the local hero, John Montgomery in 2010 and Alexander Tretyakov in 2014. Will Yun do it to him next year?
Such an Olympic preview right here.
Look at the Korean jackets lining the fence to watch Sun Bin-yun. That was a long hold. I'm not sure why. However, Yun could be 50 seconds from gold.
Start 461, he had the first run. 463, little conservative. Now, can he get through 2? Really high there.
Ooh,
that looked a little bit of a drift.
Flakes on the wall, but doesn't hit it.
Now, we've seen him twice lose leads to Dukars after being the leader in the first run.
Was 1800s up after 1 heat.
It's
Gaps down to 11. 9 might seal it for him if he can shoot it.
124.4 was the speed Dukars had. This line here,
look at toe taps.
124.4, same speed, it's down to 6. Now it's a race to the bottom, and Dukars had 127 change down to 4.
400s.
Oh, you could close your eyes here. This is going to be right to the 100.
126.8.
Doesn't have the speed.
This could be a tie, or will Martin Stucos win it? He does win it by 100th of a second.
Can you believe this?
Wow. Martin Stucos. Richard Bromley can't believe it.
The exit of 2 was not perfect. Wow!
Wow, indeed.
This has happened the 3rd time this season. The pressure on this guy. This is a 2nd place finish. That is, 2nd place is the first loser.
Yep. Wow.
Disappointment.
Well, it's been a remarkable season for Martin Stucos. He's only won 4 of the 8 races.
This is not unbelievable what we just saw here.
Well, Yun, you bet that sting will make sure that
this is it. The track got him right there. That little tap crossover is worth 10 15, maybe.
Yeah, even if it's only worth 1, that was the difference between tying for the win and not getting the gold medal.
Unbelievable race, Martin. We just saw an Olympic preview here.
Well, Martin Stucos,
and look who ended up in 4th.
Hasn't even started smiling yet.
I bet you who had the best time in the, I don't know, who had the best time in the 2nd run?
Tretyakov 51.23. No, Martins did, because he set a track record. Set the track record. Didn't have the start record. That's still held by Yoon Sun-bin of Korea, but Martins Dukos set a new track record, 50.64, 500s quicker than Yoon's first heat.
We talked about it, put a good time down and catch me if you can, and he could. Martins Dukars, the greatest our sport has ever seen, has just done it again in the pre-Olympic test.
And he and Yoon basically had each other's runs. Yoon had the better in the first heat, Martins went 500s quicker in the second, and Yoon had Martin's second heat. So Thomas Dukos ends up on the podium in the bronze medal position ahead of Chechikov and Chegibov. Alexander Gassner, the top German, in 6th ahead of Jung and Grother. Mattia Gaspari 9th, his best result of the season. Matt Antoine tied for 10th as he was before the break, but with Rhys Thornbury this time, and that's Thornbury's best result of his World Cup season as well.
Look who's 4th though, I keep saying. Trechikov came from 11th place to 4th.
Tied for 10th, Chechikov to 4th,
Well,
and he was behind Thomas Dukos by 100th of a second.
How about Thomas Dukars from 7th to 3rd too? Wow. So what a race we just saw.
What an epic finale to the men's skeleton World Cup. The BMW IBSF season finishes where next year's Olympic Games will round out the sliding for 2018. And it is Martins Dukos who takes a stunning 100th of a second victory.
What a perfect run he had. As good as anything we've seen come down this track. And he's done it like he's been doing it for so long.
He made it look like he knew the track rather than he's only ever been here once before in his life.
Olympic preview we just saw. There's our World Cup standings looking at. He wins by narrowest.
Dukos needed only second, but he claimed victory to win it. Alexander Chechikov jumps Axel Jung to take 3rd place in the season standings. Christopher Grother in 5th, Thomas Dukos in 6th position. So lots of changes there. In fact, Nikita Chegibov moved up, didn't he, ahead of Grother and Dukos. Don Parsons rounds out the top 10 at the end of the year. Rhys Thornbury, 12th place. He did move up ahead of Barrett Martineau after Martineau's horrible final run. So Thornbury in 12th place, and Ander Mirambel in 14th spot, by far and away his best ever World Cup season. And the World Cup point standings go on for many pages as well, down to 38th place, Artem Drozdov. And that is it for the men's skeleton World Cup. Will we see the same podium finishers? Sure to see some of them in contention in 11 months' time. Despite all of the secret training, it wasn't Yoon Sun-bin, it was Martins Dukos who claims his 8th World Cup title in his 4th win of the season. Well, that's it. Thank you for joining us for another sensational year of sliding. It's goodbye from Korea.